Welcome in, everyone. Today we're diving deep, really deep, into a brand new fictional universe.
Oh,
The SHIBUI universe.
well, I'm excited about this one.
This one is amazing. Cursed warriors, we've got powerful women, a sentient forest, pirates, but with a twist. You name it, this world seems to have it.
Yeah.
And the best part is we're catching it in its early stages.
It's like we're getting in on the ground floor.
Yes. There's whispers of manga and anime on the horizon, so who knows where this universe will go. But to help us navigate this new world, I've got an expert in fantasy and lore right here with me.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, we're working with snippets of information about different locations and factions within this universe, and one that immediately caught my eye was this soulless citadel.
Interesting.
What's the story there? Just the name itself is giving me chills.
Well, the Soulless Citadel is actually a prison. Imagine a floating island suspended between realms.
Whoa.
And this is where some powerful entity in this universe, a being by the name of Tenebris, banished the Lightwalker warriors after a curse went awry.
Okay, so let's unpack this curse for a second. We're talking about a curse so potent it affects every male Lightwalker once they come of age.
Right.
That's not just bad luck, that's a whole society in upheaval.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine the cultural impact of that. Every generation, the men are essentially ripped away.
Yeah.
This detail raises questions about family dynamics, power structures, how they view fate versus free will. It's fascinating.
And speaking of power structures, how does the rise of these women warriors play into all of this?
This is where it gets really interesting. With the men trapped in this soulless citadel, the women become the protectors, the leaders, the warriors.
Wow.
This detail hints at a matriarchal society, which is a unique twist in a genre often dominated by male heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, we see echoes of real world's warrior cultures like the Amazons, but here it's not a single tribe, but a whole society shaped by this curse.
Okay, buckle up, because we're going from a floating prison to a sentient forest.
We're talking.
The Forbidden Forest, they call it. Now, magical forests are a staple in fantasy, right?
Sure.
But this one feels different.
Yeah, definitely. What makes the Forbidden Forest unique is that it's implied to be a single organism.
Wow.
Not just trees communicating, but a unified being. And at its heart is this Baransu elm, said to be planted by a higher power from the upper realm. So we're potentially dealing with gods or deities influencing this world.
Right.
Imagine the stories you could tell, characters negotiating with the forest itself, facing its wrath if they disrespect the delicate balance.
It's like the forest itself becomes a character with its own motivations and desires. From a sentient forest, we move to something a bit more, shall we say, swashbuckling.
Oh, hey, matey.
The source material mentions the pirates Fukushu, but they seem a little different than your typical high seas adventurers.
Definitely. There's a fascinating dynamic at play here. On the one hand, you've got your Baransu-born pirates, right? They're more about treasure hunting, classic pirate adventure.
Yeah.
But then there's this mention of a second group. These pirates are shrouded in darkness, almost Lovecraftian, driven by something more sinister than simple greed.
It's like two sides of the same coin. Both calling themselves pirates, but with radically different motivations. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it speaks to a deeper complexity within the SHIBUI universe. This isn't just a case of good versus evil, but conflicting ideologies, maybe even different forms of magic, belief systems clashing within the same faction.
That kind of nuance is what makes a fictional world feel real, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it opens up so many narrative possibilities. I mean, are these pirate factions actively at war? Do their paths intertwine with the women warriors or the imprisoned Lightwalkers? I mean, we're left to speculate, and that's exciting.
Speaking of speculation, we have to talk about the Kubu Forest
Yes.
and the mention of an unknown tribe living within. This feels like a huge question mark in the lore, practically begging to be explored.
It's a brilliant narrative technique. The creators, they give us just a glimpse. They inhabit the Kubu Forest, which is on the southern border of the upper mountains, and their magic is intertwined with nature, particularly bamboo, but that's all we get.
Right.
This tells us that the SHIBUI universe is much bigger than what's been revealed so far. There are entire civilizations out there, untouched by the conflicts we've discussed.
And it makes you wonder, what role will this unknown tribe play in the grand scheme of things? Are they isolationists? Do they possess knowledge or abilities that could change the fate of the Lightwalkers, or perhaps even challenge the women warriors?
And let's not forget about the Baransu elm,
Right.
and this implication of higher powers at play. Could this unknown tribe have a connection to that? Are they guardians, worshippers, or something else entirely?
It's like we've only uncovered the tip of the iceberg here. And what lies beneath is this vast, interconnected network of stories just waiting to be told.
That's the allure of a well-crafted universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sparks the imagination.
Yeah.
It invites us to fill in the blanks, to ask, what if?
Exactly. And with the Shibui universe, the what-ifs are practically endless. I mean, we've got all these intriguing threads. We've got this generational curse of the Lightwalkers, the rise of the women warriors, the mysterious unknown tribe.
Of course, can't forget them.
The dual nature of the pirates of Fukushu, and this overarching presence of the Baransu Elm and the Upper Realm. It's almost overwhelming.
And yet it's that sense of scale, that feeling that there's so much more to uncover. That's what makes this universe so compelling, you know?
Yeah, it makes you want to, like, grab a notebook and just start theorizing. Totally. Like, what if the key to breaking the Lightwalker curse lies within the Kubu forest? What if this unknown tribe possesses ancient knowledge that could shift the balance of power?
And what if the women warriors,
right,
as strong as they are, what if they're facing an internal conflict too?
Yeah.
Maybe some yearn for the return of the Lightwalkers, while others see it as a threat to their hard-won autonomy.
Oh, for sure. So many possibilities. And, you know, we've talked about the lore, the locations, these different factions, but what I find most fascinating is how the Shibui universe subverts classic fantasy tropes. It's not just good versus evil here.
No.
It's about these complex societal structures. It's about challenging destiny and really exploring the very nature of power.
Absolutely. And that's what makes me excited to see where the creators take this universe next. I mean, will we delve into the lives of, say, ordinary citizens living under the shadow of the soulless citadel? Will we witness, like, a daring escape attempt? Or perhaps a confrontation with these shadowy forces driving the darker side of the pirates of Fukushu?
Right. The Shibui universe it feels ripe with potential for stories that are both epic in scope and yet still deeply personal. It's a world where the actions of individuals can have these far-reaching consequences, where ancient curses intersect with modern conflicts, and where the line between hero and villain is often blurred.
And ultimately, I think that's what makes this universe so captivating. It reflects our own world in all its complexity, you know? It reminds us that even in a realm of magic and myth, the choices we make, the stories we tell, the legacies we leave behind, they all truly matter.
So as we emerge from this deep dive into the Shibui universe, I think we're left with a sense of wonder and anticipation. It's a world brimming with possibility, waiting for its stories to be told.
It is.
And to our listeners, we ask, what will your Shibui story be?
Hey, Bui Bui. Thank you for tuning in to this special podcast generated with Notebook LM. I hope you enjoyed diving into the world of Shibui with us. If you did, be sure to subscribe and share it with your fellow adventurers. Until next time, Shanti Ma Aun Kami Owis out.